What is up, and welcome back. We are keeping on with the progress. Time is crunching down quick, and I still got a lot to do. And the worst part is, I still got a lot of parts to buy. I don't really have a lot of money to do it with. Today, we're going to work on some A-arms. My driver's side has got a big crack in it, and looks like the passenger side has a big crack in it as well. So, I'm going to beef these things up, make them bulletproof, and you guys can come along for the ride. So here is why we reinforce our lower control arms. See that big crack? That is not good. And we're going to cut that spring pocket out and make it better. The stress that hydraulics puts on some suspension, I mean, you got to understand it's a pretty good amount of force. This is some pretty thin metal. Granted, it's got, different curves. Like right there's a curve. There's a curve. That does add strength. But really, it's nothing compared to what we're throwing at it. So we're going to add a plate on the bottom and 2 plates on the sides. We're going to build a new spring pocket because obviously that one's trashed. And we're going to reinforce our spring pocket twice. And get rid of that ugly thing. And mold it all up, make it look pretty. And purposeful. And end up throwing some new bushings in there too. These ones are a little toast. The other ones are worse. So we're going to pop them out and put new ones in. Maybe make a video on doing that. See how easy it goes. Yeah, that's a pretty good crack. So luckily, all that will be cut out with our new control arm. We can start over fresh. Started marking out for my spring pocket. Basically just set my pipe right on top of the pocket. Kind of just looked straight down and made my mark. You can see there it's kind of hard to see, a little bit oily. But yeah, just kind of went straight down and gauged it best I can. I can always cut off more, so I'd rather it be a little bit small and I can trim than it be too big and trying to fill a gap, because this is going to be holding the weight of the vehicle. So I want a pretty good fit up. Granted, I'm going to be having a plate on top of here also, so that will be more structure, but I'd like to tie this in as well as I can. And before I go lobbing a big hole in here, I want to be sure that my spring pocket is going to be flat the way it was before. I don't want it getting crooked, cocked one way or another. Then my spring is going to be leaning, probably making a bunch of noise, scooting around in the pocket. This is a pretty tight fit. Granted, a lot of this is going to be coped away. So the spring does move in the travel suspension, so you do need a little bit of room. Like I said, before I start lobbing a hole in this thing, I'm going to build me some little feet that come down. So when all this inner structure is gone, it will sit just like it is. That way I can just place my pipe down in there. My pipe will be square to the way my spring pocket was, and everything should be pretty much in the same spot as it was. So I'm going to just get some random pieces of metal, tack them to the side of the arms, probably all 4 sides, and that'll start cutting my hole out. And there we go. Got a jig made. Had to actually do it a few times. As you can tell, I had to break off the welds. Apparently my table isn't as flat as it's supposed to be. It's been through a lot. So I just laid this on a piece of steel. That's when I seen the gap in the bottom there before, and I was like, that ain't gonna work. So the beautiful thing about welding, you can just break it off, do it again. So now we got that situated. I'm gonna start plasma cutting the hole out, and we'll start fitting up our pipe. So we got it all cut out. Not too bad of a cut. Got a little bit big there and there, but it'll be all right. So that's what I'm talking about when I was meaning keeping the pocket square. It's all flush sitting on the table just like the original pocket was. So now we're going to start coping. We're going to take all that out just to make it fit the arm a little bit more uniform. Make it look a lot better. Give the spring a lot more clearance for travel. So we'll start marking it out, cutting it up. We got our pocket all coped out. We got our bottom plate welded in on the top and bottom. And we're about to start tacking it up. Alright, so I got the pocket all welded in. That big old gap over there wasn't too bad. And I'm starting to cut off the lip on the edges. Kind of figured it just look a little bit cleaner. If I can butt my plate up to that and kind of round it over. I'm going to smooth out around the ball joint too. Kind of worried maybe I shouldn't have cut it off, but we'll find out. It'll work out all right. I got this side cut on the bottom. So I'll get this side cut off, and then we'll start making our template. Alright, so this is the side of our lower control arm. That's just a little piece of steel I cut out. Obviously I bent it. Got it pretty close. I am pretty happy with it. Made me a reference mark here, how far I'm going to come up. And everything else kind of just follows the contour. Basically just stuck it in the vise. Made me a few marks where our bends are at. Stuck in the vise, got it contoured pretty close where I'm happy with it. Obviously I'm going to probably start welding here, put some heat in it, and then we'll just clamp that and it'll help roll it over. But you're probably thinking I just said I was going to show you how to bend it. So I've got this side also. And here's our straight plate. So I'm gonna kind of guess on this one. The outside obviously is easier. You can just lay it up there and mark where you need to bend it. But the inside radius, you see that big gap there. So you just kind of got to play with it. I mean, it's thin stuff. Well, not really thin stuff. It's just a narrow strip, so it is pretty easy to bend. So it ain't gonna hurt, you know. If you mess up, you can just straighten it up. So there's like the center of my bend. So how do I want to do this here? I think I'm gonna look at it first and see. I do have to put a bend here where it goes down. So I would normally put a bend right in the middle, but I'm kind of thinking I could maybe just bend it from here and get a smoother radius, and that'll kind of follow this. This is one of those things you kind of got to play with. You know, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Kind of understand what the metal's going to do before you actually do it. So I'm going to put this in the vise right here. I'm going to try and just do a big loop and see how that goes. Could not go worth a crap. Could work out just the way I wanted it to. I'm going to just grab it all the way to the top. Kind of bend it. Yeah, it's kind of working the way I want it to. And a good way to get a smooth radius is just work little pieces at a time. Just work your way down the vise. You don't really have to worry about going too far. Like I said, you can straighten it back up. So that looks like it's going to work out pretty good. So I'm going to keep on going. Just work my bend down because this right here starts to come back. A little bit at a time. Main thing you gotta worry about is it slipping out of the vise and you punch yourself in the face. Because that sucks. Damn, I'm good. That's a pretty close fit. Go a little bit more. Which right now it is close enough where I can tack it up and pull it in with some clamps. And now it's bending in the one spot I don't want to bend. So we'll go backwards. There we go. I am pretty happy with that. Now we'll put the backwards bend on here. And for this one, instead of grabbing it up here using my leverage, because it'll just straighten this back out, get one of my best investments ever. People always see this and are like, Jesus Christ, got a big enough wrench? Well, it's not really used for a wrench. It is, but it isn't. It's pretty much used for bending stuff. And it works very well because it has 24 inches of leverage. Looking good. Go a little bit more. Lost my mark. It is freaking hot in here without a fan. Maybe I don't need a bigger shot. Maybe I just need an air conditioning shot. I normally run the fans, but it kind of shows up, or you can at least hear it in the videos pretty loudly. And that's why I just time-lapse everything, because you don't really have to worry about it. Well, that is just not working out the way I want to. Better. I think I'm going to just hammer that corner down because I'm pretty happy with everything else. I think that'll work. I'll slide it forward just a hair. I want my front to wrap around, and I think that is going to be good. So, With that being said, I'll show you guys what the fitment looks like, and you can silently judge me, because I don't care. And that is what our fitment looks like. That's not too shabby. I can pull that in with a clamp. Yes, I'm wearing sandals. Best fabrication footwear you can have. So I'm going to start tacking it in, pulling it where it needs to be with clamps, and beat that in with a hammer. We'll start getting this thing wrapped up. So I got it propped up here on the table. Got my metal clamp down. Everything's fitting pretty good, pretty happy with it. So I'm going to start tacking it in and pulling it down as I move closer to the ball joint. Oh no. Double oh no. It's raining. That ain't good. Can't think about a wire. Well, this day really went to crap real quick. Yeah, now that's happening. So continuing on, Coming around that inside curve, got my C-clamp on there. And start welding it up, heating it, and start forming that around, which looks like I might be a little bit short, which that will suck. But I'll put a little piece of filler in there, it'll be alright. Totally fit like a glove. Can't believe you guys had any doubt whatsoever in me. Just kidding, it was like a 1/2 inch short, maybe 3/4. I got the bottom, well, got the sides all welded in on the bottom. I just stitched the top for right now. I'm gonna wait till it gets bottom plate on and then fully weld it out. But that is our next move. We're gonna put our bottom plate on, start tacking it. Got it all clamped up now. About to start burning it in. And once again, kind of racing the weather, so I'm gonna just go ahead and burn it, and I'll bring you guys back. Yeah, we got it all welded up. I was racing against the clock. Got rain came down on me. I got a little bad spot over here, right there. Rain and wind was getting me, so I had to grind that back out. Run another pass over it, because I'm gonna probably mold them, I guess. As much as I hate molding, but figured to run another pass over it. That way, build it up a little bit higher, not grinding off all the weld. So I'm gonna start getting grinding, just molding away. See you guys in like 7 years. Got the arm all finished up. Even has some chain mounts on there. Yes, I like chains. I don't care what you think. I see more pros than cons coming from them, so that's why I rock them. And if your biggest thing that you can say about chains is, oh, they make a bunch of noise, well, I got something for that too, so I ain't worried about it. So that's how I reinforce a lower control arm. At least for my car. I wanted a bigger spring pocket. Well, not a bigger spring pocket. I just wanted a stronger spring pocket. So, built my own. I'm going to end it here. Give you guys a little sneak peek since you watched this far in the video. I already got it on the car. That's my sneak peek I'm telling you about. But anyways, before we do that, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends so they can subscribe. Share it. So if you don't have friends or people that aren't your friends, they can see it and subscribe too. So, yeah, just like that. So I'm going to show you a little sneak peek and then we get out of here. Till the next one. Ooh, fancy. That's all you get.
What seems to be the problem?
Good shot. Got away free. It lives to die another day.